Hello, everyone. Diana Rankin here on Friday afternoon. At least where I am, it's Friday afternoon. It may not be where you are. But this is our weekly message from Phillip. And we have a question from one of our viewers that we'll get to in a moment. And then we will also, whoops, my book's slipping here. Let me prop it back up. And then we will also get a message from Phillip from one of my books, The Master's Book of Answers. And as most of you know, this is just an oracle book where you open to any page and get your answer. Hello, Anika. So good to see you and happy Friday, she says. Yes, a happy Friday for all of us. And I just want to caution you with the weekend coming up, and I know there are fairs and festivals and parties and gatherings. Please be careful. The COVID is not over yet. So I want to keep all of you healthy and happy. So please do your best to stay healthy and happy. And we'll go on then. So we're going to get our message from Phillip here in a moment. But first, I want to tell you our question of this week, which is this shift causing anxiety in some of us? And we're going to look at that. Well, hello, Wanda. So good to see you. It's always so good to see all of you live. That's so much fun for me. So thank you for coming on. And for those of you who could not come live, thank you for your comments below. Thank you for watching the videos on this channel and for telling your friends. Let's grow the love, shall we? Because that's what we talk about on this channel. We talk about love. For those of you who are new, every week I ask my guide, Phillip, my spirit guide, a question that one of you have submitted. Now you can send them to me directly, or you can put them in the comments below, and I will pick them up and put them in the queue and answer your questions. And then we also, as I mentioned, get a message from Phillip. I ask that your questions be of general nature rather than personal. We want them to be of interest to our whole audience. So we're talking today, our question is this shift causing anxiety in some of us? And for those of you who are questioning what shift is she talking about, we're talking about the evolutionary shift. It started back in the 90s, actually, when we started really feeling it. And it's just escalated since then. We have made the shift, but we're still in the turmoil of what that shift is and the anxiety that's caused by that. So let's get right to what Phillip has to say. And I want to also tell you, I am going to give you some processes at the end. After I read what Phillip has to say, I'm going to give you some processes that I think will help you deal with any anxiety that you have, in addition to what Phillip says. Okay, thank you. I wrote myself a note here so I wouldn't forget. Before I give you Phillip's answer, I want to tell you something that you may have heard me cite, and I tell a lot of people in my workshops and clients privately. It goes back several years, but the Wall Street Journal did a survey. Now, they weren't the only one who did this survey. Other organizations did a survey on how many people in the population are sensitive. And I cite the Wall Street Journal because it's such a conservative, or was, I guess it still is, such a conservative news organization that I think for the Wall Street Journal to do this survey and come up with the answer they came up with is really important. And they came up with a survey that said only 17 to 20% of the population is sensitive. So only about 20% of us are sensitive, and that means 80% is not. So there may only be about 20% of us really feeling this anxiety. I think the others are feeling it, but may not be aware of it. I notice the anxiety for me grows when I go into a grocery store. And somebody said to me many, many years ago, grocery stores are about survival. And so I said, I get that. And I think with the pandemic and with all that we're going through politically in the US and in many parts of the world, the anxiety about survival is really up there. It's really strong. So those of us who are sensitive are going to feel that coming in from others. So I am going to give you some ways of protecting yourself after I read what Phillip has to say. But I also want to tell you, I have another video, and I've posted the link below here. It's how, I forget the exact title, but it's something like how empaths can protect themselves from negative energy. Something to that. The title's below. I'm sorry, I don't recall exactly what it is, but please take a look at that short video and use those ways. You know, I always say have 100 tricks in your bag, 100 different ways of taking care of yourself. If one doesn't work, pull out the next one. If that one doesn't work, pull out the third, and so forth. So let's get right in here with what Phillip is saying about anxiety. The evolutionary shift that is taking place on Earth is causing anxiety for many. How could it not? The Earth has shifted on its axis, which has been felt by many. We say many, but let us make it clear that all have been affected. When we say felt by many, we are saying that many are aware of greater feelings of anxiety. At the same time, there are those who are aware of feeling something, but are not aware of what they are experiencing. This group will tend to experience the anxiety as fear, often turning the fear into anger. For those who are not aware that beneath their fear or anger is anxiety, born of the erratic, energetic period which is causing turbulent times on Earth. For those who are aware of increased anxiety, there is much they can do to level the fear and move into a space of calm and love. You know, I did ask another time, when is this shift going to be over? And I was told when more people are able to be in that place of love. So, you know, we have to climb like this and then shift over. And when we make that shift, it's what in the pandemic many are calling herd immunity, I guess. So the more people who move into a space of love, the quicker the shift will be felt by all. Okay, back to Phillip. To remind yourself you are a spiritual being having a human reaction may be enough for a few. Most humans will need more reassurance to deal with anxiety. The spiritual side of the human knows there is only love. However, the human has come into the third dimension to experience a myriad of emotions. When the emotions are overloaded, the human may experience anxiety. When the emotions are overloaded, the human may experience anxiety. As one person experiences anxiety, this then spreads to another. Now, two people are experiencing greater anxiety, so the anxiety becomes stronger in the energy. Without our going into greater detail, you can see how anxiety or any emotion spreads rapidly and far. Is it possible to avoid the anxiety, you ask? Yes. The first step is to become aware of the anxiety before it overcomes you. If you are able to recognize it before being overcome, it will be easier for you to switch out of the fear and into a place of loving yourself and others. As one is able to place themselves into the light instead of the shadow, the truth of who you are becomes clearer. This is not to say human life is easy. It is to say that as the human remembers who you are, you will remember that all is an illusion of your own making, including any feelings of anxiety. Now, as we say this, we recognize that most humans are at this point. Now, as we say this, we recognize that most humans at this point are unable to walk through the shadows unscathed. We can tell you again and again that your thoughts and emotions create your world. You might even accept this intellectually, but creating peace in your life is not always easy. We recognize this. So we say, When the anxiety overcomes you, stop, breathe, and call upon us to soothe you. We will wrap you in the warmth of love with a capital L and hold your spirit with a capital S, as we also hold the human that you are. Those of us who hold you are your guides, your angels, your teachers, and protectors. As you welcome us, you will feel our warmth, you will feel our presence, and you will be comforted. I just want to repeat that last sentence. As you welcome us, you will feel our warmth. You will feel our presence, and you will be comforted. And that's what Phillip is telling us. Now, I want to give you a couple of very human processes you can do that if anxiety hits. Again, I remind you that welcome, Judith. So good to see you. And thank you for the hugs and smiles and hearts. I want to remind you that below I've posted the link to another video about how empaths can help protect themselves. I may be repeating some of that. Thank you, Wanda. We love it too. And we love your questions because you really do help us out here. So a couple of the things you can do. And again, if I repeat that in the video on the empaths below, forgive me. But I want everybody to get some of this information. Keep in mind that basically there's fear and there's love, and there's shadow and there's light. You're choosing one over the other. And if we can remind ourselves of that, I'm choosing love over fear. I'm choosing sunshine over shadow, or light over shadow. And if we can, watch the earth play, the trees, the shadows of the trees play with the sunshine coming down, and see that it's an interplay. Let it be playful. Sometimes that can release the anxiety if we turn this into playfulness. Another thing we can do is spend time in nature. Certainly ask a tree if you can share the tree's energy. Now, that's going to help us balance as well as heal that anxiety and change it to love. When you ask a tree, you simply ask, may I share your energy? If the tree says no, don't take that personally, please. That's just the tree saying, I'm not at that point where I'm healthy enough to share energy with you. So pick a good, strong tree, like a hardy oak with deep roots and tree that's soaring high. And look how high you can soar, but also look how deep those roots can go. And then simply stand with your back against the tree, your spine. And usually you'll notice that one side feels lighter than the other. So you may feel a little bit heavy on one side, or you may actually see a darkness on one side. And as you stand there and share the tree's energy, you'll notice that you not only feel more balanced, but that darkness lightens up. Hello, Wendy. So glad you're with us. Thank you. Always so good to see all of you. Another process you can do with anxiety is simply walk it off, and especially walking on Mother Earth. And always thank her for taking the anxiety. And you can simply shake it off, just this, and shake your legs and shake it off. Laughter is another, just start laughing. And that will break up anxiety. The more we think about how anxious we are, the more anxious we become. Another thing you can do is start recognizing, and as Phillip said, if you can get to the anxiety and recognize it before you become overcome, that will help you. So you can simply start recognizing in your body, where do I feel anxiety? When I ask you that question, where do you feel anxiety? Most people are going to say, like right here in the gut. That's where most of us feel it. That's not where everyone feels it first, but that's where most of us. So if you kind of feel that gut tightening up, stop and say, what am I feeling anxious about? What's going on here? So there, breathing, multiple ways of dealing with anxiety. Just be aware of the breath. Those of you who practice Ho'oponopono, there's another way of dealing with the anxiety that comes up. A prayer, and as Phillip says, call on those who guide us and help us. So those are just a few ways of helping you deal with anxiety, and then check the the empath below. And I remind you that, as the Wall Street Journal told us in a survey, only about 20% of us are sensitive, which means 80% is not. So before you go out into the world, you might want to just let that loving, pure white light of pure divine love come down and flow into the body, and then encompass you in an oval, in an egg of pure white love and light. And ask your angels to put those wings around you and help you to calm that anxiety. I think I've given you probably a few ways to help out there. There are many, many others, but they're all kind of versions of this: nature, breathe, prayer, meditation, calling upon those in spirit world who can help us. And certainly you can also call upon a friend and say, I just need you to listen to me. And you're welcome to call me if you'd care to set up a session. My friends, I love you. Anika, Wanda, Judith, and Wendy, thank you for coming to be with us today live. I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I'm going to go out and spend some time in nature myself today. Be safe, be calm. We are going to get through this and create for your own world, your own private world, the very best life you can. And I hope I can help you a little bit. Thank you, my friends. Thank you for the love you send to us. We receive it graciously and with such gratitude. And thank you for the love that we send to you, that you're accepting. It's there. All you need to do is say, help, I accept this love. Until we meet again. See you next week. Thank you so much, Wanda says. Love and peace. Love and peace and good health to all of you. See you next Friday.